By the way, we don't do intros because nobody cares about intros.
I got you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've seen your stuff.
All right, yeah.
I run listening to you. I do my jogs listening to you.
You know, this is the thing that people don't ever want to hear is that your life would be so much better if you just cut off caffeine, alcohol.
I can't do that.
You can't do that. You drink?
I can't. I drink a little bit.
What for?
Sometimes I just chill.
So just
Sometimes,
chill.
yeah. You know, I sometimes I have scotch at home. Sometimes I just drink wine just to chill. I don't drink to get away from something. I don't even drink to celebrate anything. I just drink to chill.
Just to chill.
Yeah.
But do you, okay, look me in the eye and tell me honestly, do you like the taste of alcohol?
I do. Are you kidding me? Yeah, of course. I love wine. I love scotch.
Yeah.
No, I love scotch. I love the taste of it. Yeah.
You're demented.
Nah, man. Come on.
No, because
Why would anybody consume anything through your palate if you don't like it?
that was me.
Do you drink?
I don't drink anymore. I used to. I used to, and then part of the reason why I stopped drinking was because I started introspecting and I started thinking to myself, why am I putting my body through so much unnecessary?
Well,
like number one, obviously it's unhealthy. Number two, I don't feel good. Why am I doing this to myself? I don't even like the taste.
maybe you had too much. You need to put yourself on check.
Nah, but I've tried alcohol. I never really drank for to get away from anything, like to escape demons or get bad shit, just fucking blitz out of my mind. Like I drank because honestly, just because everybody around me was drinking. But I didn't like any of the shit that I was drinking.
Yeah,
not even
okay.
not even cocktails.
Well, if you don't like it, you shouldn't,
Yeah.
But I do like it, and not a lot of people know that I drink because I don't really drink here. But I just have wines. The usual go-to is just gin tonic. That's easy.
That's a very gay drink.
Really?
Yeah.
It's an easy drink.
It is.
Because I do mics all the time,
Yeah.
and a lot of mics are at bars, and I have to buy one drink, and they don't have wine, they don't have scotch, they don't have whiskey, and so I just have
Right.
gay tonic.
Right.
Maybe I am gay.
Don't tell your wife and kids that. Not yet. By the way, Indah G Pandji.
Yeah,
That's
the
your street
G's
name. That's
double
your-
G.
Yeah, that's your street name.
It is a street name.
Oh my God.
Indah G Pandji. You know what I'm saying?
Legendary. Anyways, I was telling Pandji over here that ever since I cut off caffeine, so fun fact for all of y'all listening, I don't drink alcohol and I don't drink caffeine either. And ever since I cut out caffeine, I have way more energy. My sleep is also really good. How's your sleep?
Well, right now it's
Yeah.
not. It's way off.
Yeah.
But I think I can cut off both if I want to. I don't have a problem. I don't have a drinking problem. I used to. I think I was addicted to coffee for a while. I was seeking for it just for the sake of it.
Right.
And now I kind of substituted with tea.
Right.
Earl Grey. So yeah. But yeah, I just like both. I just like drinking coffee. I just like drinking wine.
Nah, bro, the craziest thing about Indonesians is how they're literally ngopi at jam 4 sore.
Yeah.
Or at night, straight up at night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fucking crazy. How
I
do
do
these
that if
people sleep?
if I have an important gig to do. I do that.
Actually-
I drink on stage sometimes.
Do you know why a lot of Indonesians like to drink coffee?
It's just a
at late hours?
social activity. It's not because you know how it is. This is so weird. This is how I know coffee for Indonesian are more of a social activity.
Yeah.
Because coffee shops in Indonesia, they open at 9 and 10 or maybe 11. I'm like, we need coffee early in the morning, yo.
Yeah.
In the U.S., maybe in New York, it opens from 7 maybe, sometimes 6.
Yeah, but
right?
closes at 5 or 6 usually.
Yeah. And a lot of coffee shops or cafes in New York, they're small because people just go in, buy coffee, and they go. In Jakarta, you go to cafes to hang around, so it's more of a social activity kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
And then you go, end of work, you hang out with your guys, and if you don't drink alcohol, you drink coffee, and so that's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Nah, but that's crazy. I'm like, how the hell do y'all sleep at night?
I don't really at this point in my life, caffeine doesn't do much to me. So it's more like, a normal thing.
Yeah. It's just a taste thing.
Yeah.
I will say that's the one thing about caffeine is that caffeine actually does taste good, and sometimes I just want it for taste, but then it fucks my brain up, and so I'm like, okay, I gotta stay away from that one. But I keep telling people like y'all should cut out caffeine, alcohol, smoking, especially a lot of Indonesians.
Yeah.
Cut out the cigarettes and see how much your body thanks you for it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, it's easier said than done.
Yeah, I can't even convince my mom to stop smoking.
Oh, your mama smokes.
Everybody smokes in the family.
Oh, damn.
My mom, my sister, except my father.
That's so interesting. Then why don't you smoke?
I don't like it. And I feel, this is going to sound weird, I feel like I'm a pussy because I feel when I was in junior high, when I was in middle school, a lot of kids smoke because they think it's the cool thing to do.
Yup.
And I'm like, I don't need to smoke to be cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I really didn't want to. Other than it never, I don't understand. I don't like inhaling any kind of smoke. I don't smoke weed. I don't do
Shisha, hookah?
Shishas, hookah. I don't do those. I wanted to try to what's the word? Cigar. I want to try a cigar.
Yeah.
But I just can't. I just don't like inhaling smoke. So
that's really interesting because my mom's the same way. Like everybody in her family smoked except for her. And then when I asked her why, it's because everybody around her smoked that she saw what it did to them and she don't want it happening to her. And so when I think the story goes it's either my grandfather or her grandfather. I can't remember whose grandfather, but some old man in the family, and she watched how he drowned in his own lungs because he was such a chronic smoker.
Wow.
That's the way that he went out.
Do you know what's weird? My father also doesn't smoke. My mom smokes she's like, it's crazy. My dad died way faster than my mom.
That's the thing. Like some people, like they live the most unhealthy lifestyles. Like they don't ever work out. They eat unhealthy. They drink you've seen videos of people that drink a can of Coca-Cola every single day. But they living up to 70 plus.
I know. Do you know what's wrong with my dad though?
What?
Stress.
Yeah.
That's why it's important. People kind of missed out on the idea that your mental health really has effect to your physical health.
Yeah, straight up.
My dad has this something called, I don't know what it is in English, but in Bahasa Indonesia it's called angina, which is like a pengapuran di pembuluh darah. How do you say that? Pengapuran.
What is pengapuran?
So the blood vessel
Pop?
No.
Congested?
Congested, yeah. What happened is the stress that he was having resulted into that pengapuran kind of thing. I don't know. I think it's calcium. No, it's not calcium. People are going to laugh about it. But anyway, it was stress because the doctor told him, because my dad was like, yo, I'm an athlete. I don't smoke. I'm very disciplined with my eating regime, 7-12-7.
Yeah.
And then his doctor was like, maybe you're stressed. And my dad was like, maybe you're right. And so that's what happened. Imagine a healthy body got destroyed because of what's happening on your head.
Yeah.
It's wild, isn't it?
So important to take care of that mental health, you guys. But today we're going to be talking about prostitution, pornography, sugar dating, and gambling. I said sugar dating, and he was like, what's sugar dating? I was like, what?
I'm not really familiar with the term sugar dating. I know sugar babies.
Yeah. Guess we'll start with sex work, which, by the way, actually, the way we should ease into it first, I should explain to everybody, because actually a lot of people don't really know what sex work entails. So sex work, I
might not as well.
Prostitution, I think that's the most obvious. Pornography as well. Actually, people don't realize that porn stars are sex workers. And then there are also other jobs under the umbrella of sex work, such as escorts and call girls. There's also...
Escorts and call girls are not the same?
So, the difference between a prostitute, a call girl, and an escort. So, if a prostitute is, I'll have sex with you if you pay me. An escort is, I'll go on a date with you if you pay me. So the difference between an escort and a prostitute is the sex.
Okay.
Right, but there's still financial transaction. Whereas a call girl is actually a prostitute. So there's actually it might be easier if you think of it, there's two types of prostitutes. So they're the prostitutes that, have you ever been to Bangkok, Thailand?
I haven't.
Oh, okay. But when
those are prostitutes.
Well, red light districts, they're kind of
right
around the street, and then they come up to you, they offer your services. So there's that type of prostitutes, and then call girls are prostitutes, but they're a higher like a higher class of prostitutes because
see.
they work for let's say like a jasa, and you gotta call them first, and then you gotta tell them over the phone,
Hence, call girls.
Hence call
Yeah,
girls,
yeah,
and it's like, oh, I'm looking for this criteria, that criteria.
So it's
and
like the
then
Gojek of prostitutes.
it's basically the Gojek of prostitutes. So that's a call girl, prostitute, escort, and then strippers and lap dancers.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, those are also sex workers.
Yeah, yeah.
But today, I thought, if we're too broad, we're going to go on forever. So let's just narrow it down to like the two most popular ones that people talk about, which is prostitution and pornography. Especially with prostitution, because if y'all missed it on Twitter, but apparently I pissed people off.
What was the episode about?
The episode, so it's the one where I was debating Boy William, and I think we were talking about sex work and legalizing and decriminalizing.
Because you also have an episode with Sarah, right? Sarah Wijayanti, Joy Harikusumo, I think.
We more so talked about laws and legislation surrounding sexual violence, but not so much that one. But with Boy William, it was explicitly talking about legalization and decriminalization. Some fucking fool on Twitter, like, he stitched that, and his takeaway was, why are you so obsessed with like wanting Indonesians to become degenerate? I believe in the traditional values, the sanctity of marriage. Meanwhile, he's over here posting fucking thirst traps. I'm like,
yo, come on now.
The calls coming from inside of the house, I'm telling y'all.
I have this friend. She used to work for like an NGO that does a lot of work around the sex education, and so she met with a lot of middle school kids, girls, who didn't know anything about, wasn't being educated on sex, and do you know this? There's this news, but I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. A middle school girl was pregnant
here in Indonesia.
Okay. I forgot exactly where, and because she had sex with her then boyfriend, and the reason, this is what she said, the reason is because she tried to help him because he says to her that he has leukemia, and he needs her to drain all the blood white. You know this, right? Yeah. He needs her help to drain all the blood white cell from his body by having sex. And the girl was like, well, I guess I want to save your life or whatever. And that's what happened. That's how bad it is.
Oh my God.
And then I don't remember how, but I remember, and then there's this talk about HIV/AIDS.
Yeah.
And the way a lot of countries decrease the number is by decriminalization on prostitutions, because that helps decrease the number to 40%, up to 40%. That's a huge number.
Right, yeah.
And so, I had a joke about that 2016. It was also controversial at that time.
Yeah. No, I ended up on like some news platforms because I talked about HIV as well. And a lot of people here, they still don't react well to that when you talk about how, hey, people with HIV, they deserve to live dignified lives and they deserve to find love in their lives.
Exactly.
And then suddenly everybody's like attacking me online and shit.
That's
like
just
that.
stupid.
Yeah, no, it is. But when it comes to decriminalization, one of the points that I made was that when it comes to legalization, I would support it under the context of, on the basis of bodily autonomy must remaining absolute, because that is a political value that I hold, is that the government should not have any business in what we can and cannot do with our body. As in to say, I may have moral and ethical contentions with you becoming a sex worker, whether it be a prostitute or a porn star, but the government should not be involved. I think you should still have the legal right to do so. So what I said was, under that scenario, I would support legalization. However, and this is where, the talk about sex trafficking comes in, because when you consult with the research data, research shows how countries that legalize sex work saw an increase of sex traffickers.
Well, just for the sheer supply and demand, I think.
I think it's just a supply and demand thing. That's what I talked about with Ruang 28 with Kania, Gilang, and Mamat.
Mamat speaks English?
He
barely speaks Indonesian.
Just check out the episode to see how that went down with Mamat and me.
Or
the way he calls himself Lil Matt.
Lil.
That's his street
That's
name.
his rap name.
That's
yeah.
his rap name, Lil
yeah.
Matt.
Lil Matt.
Yeah, and then midway he changed it to Big Matt. I was like, keep consistent. But yeah, when it comes to decriminalization, but this is where things got kind of messy with, like, you know, my evaluation on the situation is that legalization and decriminalization are two different things. And so I said, okay, maybe perhaps we don't legalize it if we are trying to combat sex trafficking, because sex trafficking is still a really huge problem here in Indonesia, right? But at the very least, let's decriminalize it. Why? The point that I made was that when you decriminalize sex work, it allows for victims to have a clear legal pathway in order to be able to report to the police and seek help without the fear of mereka kena tindak pidana.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the point that I made.
Yeah.
And I don't know why the hell people were so tripped up over that.
I am more on the idea that the government should be involved, but because so my stance on prostitution is kind of similar to weed.
Okay.
My idea is that if the government doesn't step in to regulate it, the bad guys are going to have fun with it. Like weed, right?
Right.
If you don't want weed to be, you know, how it is today, the government should step in and regulate things and then control things, which happens in a lot of country, to make sure that, you know, there's not a lot of fishy business going around. Right. Same thing with prostitution, because we want them to have an autonomy on their own body, but we need also to protect sex trafficking from happening. Yeah. And so, but I don't think it's ever going to happen in Indonesia, at least not in the foreseeable future.
Not even with this new administration?
No, definitely no. Hell no. Hell no. Because Indonesia being predominantly Muslim country, it is so hard for the people of Indonesia to allow the government to take part on, you know, the regulation of prostitution.
A lot of Indonesians, in my opinion, struggle to differentiate between the objectiveness of the law versus the subjectiveness of their morals and ethics. Should all sex work be legal or only certain types of sex work? Back again to what I was explaining about there are different types of sex work, so like prostitution and pornography.
I'm not really sure because I didn't really need to study into it, but I feel, this is what I want to say. I feel like I want to say all of them should be decriminalized. Because, well, you know, it's so weird for a guy to say my body, my choice.
Yeah.
And like I don't feel like I have a say on it. But I always feel like that men can get away with a lot of things, and it's not the same with women. And I feel like when we talk about prostitution, a lot of people also forget there are male prostitutes. Yeah. And so not even considering gender as an issue here, I was just thinking if the guy wants to do it or the girl wants to do it, so be it. You know? Right. So I don't have a problem with that. This is, of course, I don't condone human trafficking. That's another issue. That's a different thing. It doesn't. Does human trafficking always has something to do with prostitution, or it can be something else? It doesn't have to, right?
So sex trafficking is a type of human trafficking.
Yeah. So human trafficking.
Human trafficking in general, I'm pretty sure. I mean, like child labor.
Child labor, yeah. That makes sense.
Slavery is still a thing.
Yes,
people forget that. We still live in a time where slavery exists.
Also, human trafficking also has something to do with the illegal selling of body organs.
Yeah, black market type shit. They murder you, they cut open your body, and they sell your organs. That's the shit my mom keeps warning me about.
Really?
Yeah. That's the reason why my mom is very, she'll let me do whatever, she'll let me go wherever, but I can't be alone.
Oh, you mean here in Indonesia?
Oh, anywhere. Well, I mean, back in the States, I lived alone, but especially here in Indonesia, my mom, because I guess, you know, closer proximity, and she's like, don't go anywhere alone. Even though I'm like going to a fucking pimp, I'm like, Mom, you're fucking crazy. But she's like, kamu gak tahu ya, orang-orang sekarang itu, mereka cari nafkah itu dengan segala cara. Mereka nanti buka tubuhnya kamu, mereka jual organnya kamu.
But facts though.
Yeah, but facts. But facts, I can't even rebuttal her on that one. You know what I mean? So I'm like, God damn it. Yeah. But it's Pim.
It's just Pim.
But it's Pim.
I mean, this is Pim, yo.
Wait, just random question. Do we have strippers and lap dancers here?
Yes, we do.
We do, right?
I can take you there.
Yeah, no, Indonesia, this is the thing that I guess even to me sometimes, like, I'm shocked just to how much we actually do have, like, even though underground, like, there is a large sex industry here
It's
in
not
Indonesia.
really underground, G. It's
Oh,
not
damn.
really underground.
It's not that underground either,
A
huh?
lot of, Tito knows. He's been there.
Is Block M still the red light district?
No, really? Really?
It's still the red light district,
For
right?
you guys.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Not a lot of people go there. No, I don't think so.
I mean,
Older guys don't go there. Kota.
oh, that's a red light district?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kota.
Block M mostly for the
What?
Japanese tourists.
Oh, yeah,
that makes sense.
that's
Yeah.
true. There are
My
a lot
bad
of-
though.
Yeah. That's true. There are a lot of
It's just
Japanese
funny.
men. A lot of Japanese men in Block M, Korean as well. A lot of Japanese and Korean expats.
Yeah, that
they go
makes
to Block
sense.
M and like they get their happy ending massages over there.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. But I'm from North Jakarta though, so I don't have to go to Block M for that. It's around. That's why it's not really underground, G. It's the hypocrisy of Indonesian.
Yeah. But even like in terms of like the laws and legislation surrounding it too, like, because prostitution, when you look up prostitution laws in Indonesia, the one thing that Google says that kind of trips me up is it's a crime of indecency or some shit like that. I can't remember what Google says.
Yeah.
But as in to say, even the laws are not clear exactly on like what to do
I see, yeah.
with sex workers. And it's very much black and white. And that's, I think, why this discourse also became really big on Twitter, because a lot of people were saying, no, we
Yeah.
already have laws on this one. But it's
Yeah.
like there's a difference between what's written in the law versus what's actually like implemented in real life.
Ganjar Pranowo, do you remember?
Of course.
Yeah,
Daddy Ganjar.
Yeah, Daddy Ganjar.
Don't you think he looks like Indonesian Anderson Cooper?
He does.
But straight.
Yeah, but straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Within the same age group, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Does it think? Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of heat on him because he admitted to watching
Pornography.
Do you know this?
Yeah, no, I heard
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
I'll give y'all my 2 cents on that one. I think that the outrage and the shock that ensued after he made that admission is very hypocritical, because we all know Indonesians love pornography.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just say it for what it is.
Yeah.
Behind closed doors, Indonesians are
Yeah.
very sexually curious people.
Yes.
And consume a shit ton of pornography.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a hypocrite, right?
Yeah.
They bashing Ganjar like they don't go out there and watch porn.
Lo enggak.
Yeah, asli. It's
Yeah.
just wild. It's just stupid.
Oh, escorts.
Is escort?
A
Have you ever heard of girlfriend experience? I hear a lot of it. So girlfriend experience is where you hire a woman, and then what you get out of it,
Right, it's a girlfriend experience.
Yeah, like a girlfriend, like just being intimate. The intimacy
Yeah.
is what you're paying for instead of the
exactly.
sex.
So that's an escort. And
Yeah.
you know what else that's reminiscent of? Sugar babies. Right?
Yeah.
And you know what's really interesting? I was doing research about this last night. So did you hear about how Indonesia is the country with the highest number of sugar daddies in all of Southeast Asia?
Really? But this
You
is
know,
only because the population.
I don't know how they calculated it, but this is data from Seeking Arrangement. You know what Seeking
Okay.
Arrangement
No,
is,
I
right?
don't.
Damn, okay, you really live under a rock.
What is a seeking arrangement?
It's a website where it's like Tinder but for sugar dating.
Yo, why would I know what's seeking arrangement?
Seeking arrangement.
I have no idea.
Damn.
Never heard of it. Yeah. Why would I?
Just common knowledge. It's also really popular in New York.
Really?
Yeah.
You know
It's
what
popular
I only found out recently that
What?
in New York there's a sex club. Do you know what sex club is?
Of course I do.
I have no idea, G. I've never heard of it. I heard about it because a lot of comics are talking about how hard it is doing gigs at sex club.
Yeah.
I was talking about I did my first gig at a bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's really hard. And they'd be like, yo, have you tried at a strip club and then at a sex club? I was like, what's a sex club? And I was like, oh my God, that thing exists.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's not a surprise. The Epstein Island is not really that. It's just the craziest form of a sex club.
Yeah,
Like, I've never heard of a sex club.
Right, yeah,
That's
and
wild.
illegal.
What was that?
And Epstein says illegal as well.
Yeah, and so I don't know these things. You know?
Damn.
Yeah. I
Okay.
just do mics all day long.
And actually, no, I've tried seeking arrangement before, like back in
Really?
my college days. But I want to make it clear, it wasn't because I needed the money. I definitely did not needed the money. I just wanted the thrill of it.
So what's the experience you get out of it?
Oh, I didn't ended up getting the experience out of it because basically what happened, I'll give you the rundown. So I matched with this dude and then we planned to meet up. And then we did meet up. We met at like a Starbucks somewhere in like the fucking ghetto, so super dangerous. And then, long story short, and then he came in and we were chatting a little bit. And then he started getting weird all of a sudden. And then he was like, hey, can we like take this conversation over to my car? I was like, hell no. I'm not going into your car. I literally just met you, right? And I was literally about to explain to him how I just want this to be like a one-time thing because I just want the thrill of it and I want the experience of it. And then like, that's it. But then he would not let me talk and he just like kept mansplaining.
Oh,
and, like,
okay, that
interjecting.
guy is creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
You get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, and then he did the whole like, oh, you want to go into my car? And I was like, hell no. And then he was like, oh, okay, be right back then. And then he went over to his car, and then he drove off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys are not on the same page in
Yeah,
this.
nah.
But why would he go to that seeking arrangement kind of thing if it's not what he's looking for?
I have no idea. But
Is
then,
it
you know, I
cheaper?
was seeking something else from seeking arrangement that I ended up not getting. And also, like, in retrospect, I kind of nearly died. Or, like, something horrible happening to me.
That's dangerous, yo.
Yeah. But I was a reckless little college girl. So, you know, and I was like,
So you go on an app for that, seeking arrangement?
it's a website.
It's on a
Yeah,
website?
they don't have an app for that. But then, you know, ever since that incident, I
So-
was like, nah, fuck this.
So sugar babies, it's a place where you hook up sugar babies with sugar daddies.
Yeah.
wild.
And Indonesia is the country with the highest number of sugar daddies in all of Southeast Asia. I think the second one is India.
But how do you define sugar daddies?
Sugar daddies are basically, and you know what's interesting in Indonesia? A lot of these sugar daddies are married men.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Because
the-
when you're not married and you're 50 and you're seeking for 20-year-old women, it's just dating.
Yeah. Well, no, I feel like there could be like, you know, 50 or 40-year-old men that are single and unmarried and they're still like
And straight.
and straight and they, I don't know, for whatever reason they couldn't get a partner in life and the only thing that they have access to is paying girls to basically give them the girlfriend experience.
Yeah. So how do so Indonesia has the highest sugar daddy?
Yeah, and then I think the second one is India, but then I'll put it up on screen like a bunch of like articles
That
that
is
I was
wild,
reading.
yo.
And you know what's crazy? The reason why, so this is data from Seeking Arrangement, and then they were saying that the biggest potential reason why the demand for sugar daddies is really high in Indonesia is because of the high education cost.
Also, the sugar babies are just looking for someone to finance them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But then it's interesting, right? Because high education costs. And then did you hear the news the other day about UKT?
Oh, yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes sense now. Yeah. You kind of can, connect the dots.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
that's
I'm just
wild.
And I've been thinking about it because the whole like university tuition fees like rising, that's been like a hot topic all over the internet. Obviously, because like the whole thing is just fucked, bro.
You know what's interesting though? All the sugar daddy, they probably have their own kids to finance with their college and shit.
Yeah,
and
but they don't.
Yeah. And they're financing this, other girls.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah. And then I kept thinking about how, with the recent events unfolding with university tuition fees going up, I think like we're going to be seeing a lot more, especially young women and the people from the LGBT community as well, I think, turning to sugar dating as means of being able to sustain their education fees. And I think that's really sad.
Have you heard about the talks about student loans in Indonesia? They're going to make a student loan.
That's just stupid.
That is just stupid. They have no idea what's happening in the U.S.
Yeah. No,
It's so weird.
I think I might be so wrong, but because my friend, shout out to Gian, he was the one who posted it on his story, that they said, number one, they were going on about how, universities are a tertiary need. It's like a...
Yeah, I read about it as well.
Right?
Yeah.
Kayak kebutuhan tersier atau apa kayak gitu,
Yeah.
aku lupa tulisannya.
Yeah.
And then they said that, they're just going to do like a pay later program, which I think is like the student loan thing you're talking about.
Yeah,
And
that's another different thing, but yeah.
yeah, and then I mean that coincides with what else we're talking about today, Pinjol online and
Yeah.
judi online as well.
Yeah.
And it's just it's fucked Because
we know where the main problem lies, but the solution that people are talking about it doesn't really tackle that issue.
Right.
But it's prolonging that issue and giving other solution it's just messed up.
right.
Wow, that's so weird. That's interesting. I should make a joke out of it.
You're like,
I should make a bit from it. I should really make a bit from it.
comedians are out here like, damn, the world is fucked. I'm gonna make a joke about it. We're gonna laugh about it together. No, because sometimes it's like, what else can we do?
Yeah, you can either be stressed about it or you can laugh about it, right?
Right. Yeah. And then
You
hopefully
got to deal with it somehow.
just make sure you throw these politicians and lawmakers under the bus so that they feel bad about it. Because
That's
I'm
the
like,
whole idea.
No, because I'm like, what the fuck have y'all learned nothing from the United States and like the student loan situation that's going on over there? And I think it's just ridiculous because Indonesia right now, what we're going through is we're having a Pinjol crisis. We're having a Judol crisis.
Definitely.
A lot of people are borrowing money online in order to be able to gamble online and offline as well, actually. And there's this culture here in Indonesia that actually I've been wanting to talk about this whole like pay later. Like that's like a thing on, I think, Gojek, like the
A
Gojek
lot of
app.
apps have that.
A lot of apps have this like pay later option, and I don't know how to tell people like, bro, if you don't got the cash to pay it now, you can't pay for it later.
That's exactly. Yeah. Do you know what Jay Z says though? Jay Z has this financial tip. He says that if you can't afford something twice, you can't afford it. That makes sense, right?
I'm almost inclined to agree with that. Yeah, yeah.
Really?
I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah, because it makes sense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like, say you want to buy a car.
Yeah.
Like you have the money, but
Right.
if you can't buy it twice, you shouldn't.
Yeah, yeah.
You shouldn't.
Because
You know what I'm
otherwise,
saying?
you're gonna be stretching your pockets really.
Yeah,
thin.
yeah. Just like
Yeah.
buying iPhones for people,
Yeah.
right? They'd be like, yeah, I can try to make way to be able to buy it,
Yeah.
but with that principle, if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it. Just don't, and then you be in a safer. But then the pressure, though, the social pressure.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? I guess tying to the conversation of Pinjam online and Judi online as well is that I saw this one statistic on the pemasukan per bulan versus the pengeluaran per bulan of different countries, and Indonesia was one of those countries. And if I remember correctly, there was a list of 20 countries, and out of 20 countries, we were one of the three countries where our pengeluaran per bulan was more than our pemasukan per bulan.
Yo.
And then you read the comments, and a bunch of Indonesians were down in the comments, and they were saying, yeah, because we have jaim culture over here.
You know who's happy? Banks.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, fuck
banks
yeah.
are happy
and
with
those
it.
banks, they don't give a shit about whether or not you're drowning in debt and like
Yeah.
whether or not you're financially destitute.
They have nothing to do with that. They just want to have our money on their hands.
Do you think, the circumstances with judi online and mungkin mulai
Pinjol.
judi online dulu deh. Judi online, the situation has gotten really bad. Do you think at this point that the government should really intervene through legalization?
Well, I think legalization of it is still way ahead of us. It's really hard because I hear a lot from those Judol businesses, and I'm very sorry to report there's a lot of powerful people behind it. So, let alone talking about it being legalized,
Yeah.
the government can't even touch these people.
They don't even want to touch these people because some of our people in government, they're benefiting off of these
Yes.
judi online
Yes.
businesses. It's fucked.
Yeah. So, and at least that's what we heard. That's what we hear.
Allegedly.
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 And so it's a problem.
We're not saying anything.
But it's just, I don't know which one. Should we just regulate Pinjol instead? Do you know what I'm saying? At least you
Is
can.
it unregulated as it stands right now? Pinjol is unregulated.
I'm not sure.
OJK's not overseeing that?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know either. Some Pinjol, yeah, because there's one that keeps popping up on my YouTube ads.
But I think we need to be more, strict about it because, I mean, if you can't do anything with the Judol, at least we can do something with the pinjol, right?
I don't know about pinjol, but when it comes to gambling, berjudi, and there's technically, there's offline gambling and there's online gambling, right? I almost think online gambling is a fiend of its own. Like, that's a different category of its own. I have no idea how the hell anybody's going to take care of that.
Yeah.
Because it's dunia maya, kan? It's dunia internet, and that's really hard
It's
to
just
regulate.
because it's faster and it's easier and
Yeah.
it's more, what's the word? Anonymous.
Yeah.
The anonymity of it.
Yeah, that's true. But I keep, and this is what I said, when I went on Ruang 28, is do what you can. The government should still, if you can't touch online gambling, at least touch offline gambling, because that's very much still a thing. Mamat, he was telling me about how he was 6 years old playing Russian roulette back in...
That's wild. Back in Fak Fak?
Back in Fak Fak, yeah.
Wow.
He was playing Russian roulette as a 6-year-old boy because he was at some bazaar or something.
Wow,
It was
at a
out in the
bazaar?
open. Yeah, at like some fucking
Damn.
like family fair or whatever, and I'm like, that shit, that's really family friendly.
That's
but
wild.
I kept he mentioned that, and I was thinking, right? Yeah, see, this is one of the reasons why I would be in favor of legalizing offline gambling at the very least, because you might, again, morally and ethically, you have contentions with it, but at the very least, when you legalize something, it comes with regulations, right? It comes with laws and legislations in order to oversee that activity. And also, when you legalize it, you can do so like what Vegas basically is,
Yeah.
right? You centralize it into just one area.
I think
that they all just
I
go
think
there.
that would make sense because even Malaysia, being a more conservative country than us,
And they're way more Muslim than us.
yeah, and they have what's that island they have?
Apa tuh?
Genting, is it? Where there's the gambling district of Malaysia.
Oh, deadass.
Yeah,
Oh.
they do.
Yeah.
And so if Malaysia can pull it off, I mean,
yeah. And they got Sharia over there.
yeah, they're more religious.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they're thinking more from, number one, allegedly the people in Congress or, in government, they're not benefiting off of certain,
Oh.
like illicit businesses, allegedly. Maybe that's one. But also, I think, the one thing that so far what I see Malaysian government is doing correctly is that they're, again, able to separate the objectivity of the law versus the subjectivity of people's morals and ethical values, right? And that's like the number one thing that we're lacking here in Indonesia. Whether you want to talk about prostitution, you want to talk about pornography.
Yeah. You got a long way to go.
A very, very long way to go.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to, what was the other thing we're talking about? Pinjam online? Not that one. That's way out of my league. Like, I have no idea.
Regulating pinjol means decreasing the amount of transaction, and nobody in business would want that. That's why it's hard.
Yeah.
That's why it's really hard. Everybody wants more cash to be poured out, and I don't think it's going to happen in the foreseeable future. The thing is, everybody has somebody they know that are hooked with judi online.
Do you?
I got my laptop stolen, my camera stolen, my camera lenses stolen by somebody who were addicted to judo.
They stole your shit.
They stole my shit. And now the guy is actually in prison and my stuff is, I lost it.
Damn.
And it's sad because he used to work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he stole shit from people.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Like
oh,
Breezy
fuck.
said, these hoes ain't loyal. You can't trust them.
Facts.
But Breezy didn't mean it that way. But do you think, when it comes to gambling, because this is what I was talking about with Ruang 28 juga, there's technically laws in Indonesia that says that it's illegal to gamble, right? And so should there, and I think, oh damn, I should have looked this up before we started. Like, the law says people that participate in gambling are also subject to punishment under the law. Do you think that should be, is that the right course of action in order to basically incentivize all of these
Nah,
Indonesians?
come on, man. We know judi is still, gambling is still around. I don't know. I'm not being a comic myself. I've been trying to tackle the topic. I've been trying to find a way to talk about it on stage. But it's really hard. It's like there's so much under the beneath. What's the word? What's the term?
It's beneath the iceberg. Under the iceberg.
Yeah.
It's like the tip of the iceberg, and then there's like still so much.
Yeah.
underneath,
And then there's so many things that I couldn't really figure out. It's really hard. I think it's being kept that way, but I really want to talk about it. But it's really hard.
Yeah, and you don't kind of like with this episode, even like you kind of don't even know where to start because it's just so.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it is. It is overwhelming.
We have a lot of issues, yo. Indonesia has a lot of issues to sort out. You should have your what's that thing again?
What?
Onigiri.
My onigiri. My lunch. That's what I'm missing. I'm missing fuel. Because, bro, part of the reason why I made it so that, you know, whenever I do these podcasts and, like, I collaborate with a bunch of F&B establishments and, like, I get to eat while I'm podcasting because it gives me fuel. It gets the brain going.
Yeah. Because I see one of your episode, you were eating, what was it, squid or something?
Oh, yeah. The octopus. From
Yeah,
the
the
Greek
octopus.
restaurant. Oh, my God. So good. You should go.
Yeah.
You like Greek?
I do. That was a Greek joint?
That's a Greek joint. Yalos, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Slaps. No, anyways, let's talk about pornography. Tito,
Yeah.
be honest with me, because I know whenever you lie.
What are you, his mother?
When was the last time you watched porn?
Last time.
Don't say last night.
No. I don't remember.
No, because I mean, I've talked about it, how my porn addiction started really young. Because the first time, when was the first time y'all watched porn?
My first
How old were
porn
y'all?
wasn't porn. My first porn was a bra catalog.
What the fuck is?
Yeah,
A bra catalog?
A bra catalog. So it was home. My mom was buying shit, I think, from a catalog or something, and it was just scattered. And I was a junior high. And I was like, yo,
no.
titties.
Oh, and that is it for the free portion of this episode. If you want access to the full episode with no ads, just for 15,000 rupias, that will go towards supporting this show and all the people like Peter and Tito that work so hard to make it happen, be sure to head on over to NOICE, either on your mobile device app or web browser. Accepted payment methods include GoPay, QRIS, and virtual accounts. See you there.